There's
Stan,
no ROI until you die.
You cut me to the heart. You're telling me I have an annuity and I didn't know it? Oh!
Yes.
Newsflash,
You
listeners.
have an annuity.
Chris
So
has an annuity.
So hypocrite from the start.
Yes.
I never owned an annuity. You already own one.
What's up? Back again with another episode of the Kris Krohn Show, and we have a treat in store for you guys today. Ladies and gentlemen, we're about to have the duke out of the century. As you all know, here on the Kris Krohn Show, Chris has a
Hatred.
a tendency, is what I was going to
Hatred,
say.
Carson.
Chris has a tendency to rip on annuities. And so we decided to, put Chris's money where his mouth is and invite Stan the Annuity Man onto the show today. And we are going to have a healthy, lively debate.
I don't know if it's going to be healthy. I don't know if it's going to lively, but anyone that says Stan the Annuity Man, I don't care what your first name is, man, this is going to be a conversation that I've looked forward to. I feel like Stan is probably the official in the space of annuities. So we're going to get the record set straight, no matter what that looks like.
Hey, just remember, do not write a check with your mouth that your rear end can't cash. Okay? Because that's where we're headed today, okay?
Okay,
Anything
pause.
you say, I'm just
Pause.
if it's false, I'm going to say, no.
Chris and Stan have both agreed to play by the rules and to play nicely, but also to not pull their punches when it comes to this topic. And it is about to get interesting up in here. But let me introduce our fighters. In this corner, we have Stan the Annuity Man. He's been in the financial services industry for 3 decades. That's like more years than most of our listeners have life.
I got cowboy boots older than most of your listeners, okay? I'm telling you.
Stan has written 7 books on different financial services. His focus mainly on annuities. He is the de facto spokesperson for the annuity industry that's mostly built around, corporate hedge fund like.
And the dude's official. Look at his kicks.
Let's show.
That's what I'm saying.
Money!
By the way, these are
Money!
Air Max, Nike Air Max Gold.
For those listening,
Gold player.
Stan has
Okay.
on. Stan has on a beautiful red Adidas jumpsuit. He played basketball in high school with his Stan the Annuity Man logo, and he's wearing gold kicks. They are beautiful.
Exactly.
Stan describes himself as a content monster in putting information out there about financial services and annuities, so this is the perfect lineup. I did want to do a plug for you, Stan.
Good.
Our guests can hit theannuityman.com.
Correct.
If you're interested in any of the services or products that Stan brings up today, not that we're going to be pitching.
I don't pitch. I'm the walking middle finger of annuity truth. And that's what I am. Period. End of story.
Amazing. So that is Stan the Annuity Man. In our other corner, we have our favored, our home field advantage, Kris Krohn, retired at 26. 18 years of real estate experience and success. Done over $1 billion in real estate over the years, over 4,000 deals, and he is what I call the ROI king. And for those that don't know what ROI means, return on your investment. It means putting money where it's going to have returns and come back to you. And Chris's whole strategy, his whole focus is on how to get you that ROI. And real estate is the moneymaker. Let's start off with some opening statements. We're gonna favor Chris Stan here in the opening and let Chris kick us off. Where are you at on this, Chris? Annuities, real estate, which is better?
By the time I was 22 years old, I had interviewed over 10,000 people, all of their finances. These people had gone to college, they followed society's plan, and 30 years later, they had chump change 401ks, they had a little bit of an IRA, and some of them had annuities. And they were doing that because it seemed to me that most of them were earning 3 or 4% guaranteed return on their money. I know we'll talk about what an annuity is.
I was about to say,
but I just gotta say, I looked at that and I'm like, your net worth, your residual income is so pathetic. Why have you bet on a financial racehorse that will never cross the finish line? And so for me, I made some judgments. I didn't really formally get educated on annuities. I just developed in my early life a disdain that anyone making that choice had to be financially stupid because in their 60s, average 401k is $60,000. Average retirement is $172,000. I'm like, great, drop that in annuity and you're going to get a whopping $450 a month. Good luck living on that.
Gosh.
Real quick, Stan.
Gosh. I don't know where to start. Where do I start?
We're going to give you a chance in just a sec, but I'd like to hear from Kris. Can you define for our guests what an annuity is and the difference between a 401k? I will give you a chance to define it as well.
It's a guaranteed financial instrument based on the market where you're going to get a guaranteed sum of money as long as you put your money in it. It's market backed.
Perfect. All right, Stan, passing the ball to you. Opening statements, real estate, annuities.
Real estate, I'm all for it, and Kris is the expert. But let's talk annuities because I got to clear the air. If you say that you hate all annuities, it's like saying you hate all restaurants. That's ridiculous. I love when you go, I hate all annuities. I never buy an annuity. You already own one. If you're in the United States of America and you have a Social Security number, you already own the best inflation annuity on the planet. Yes, you do. It's called Social Security. Don't believe me? It's a lifetime income payment for as long as you're breathing. Guess what? Lifetime income payment with annuity for as long as you're breathing. We talk about ROI. Forget ROI. There's no ROI until you die.
You cut me to the heart. You're telling me I have an annuity and I didn't know it? Oh!
Yes. Newsflash, listeners. Kris has an annuity.
So hypocrite from the start.
Yes.
I never owned an annuity. You already own one.
Yeah.
Okay, and it's a lifetime income stream.
Let's not make it two.
The other thing is, I hate all annuities. Well, there's many different types. Which type do you hate? Do you hate the lifetime income stream annuity? Do you hate the principal protection annuity? Do you hate the long-term care annuity? If you don't know the answer, don't bluff. Okay? So, with that being said, that's annuities. Everybody owns one. That doesn't mean that Social Security. That doesn't mean you need to buy one. But if you want to transfer risk, solving for principal protection, solving for long-term care, solving for legacy, solving for lifetime income. I call it income insurance. Do you have income insurance? You have insurance on your house. You have insurance on your car. You have insurance for lifetime income. You can get it. They're called annuities.
Okay, well, we are off to the races.
So much to say, Carson. I'm practicing biting my tongue. It's bleeding right now.
Hold on. Let's take it back a step. Let's go to philosophy. Let's go to why you guys feel the way that you do. Kris, you imagine what you want to exist and then you create it before your very eyes. True, false?
True. I believe that we're here to create. I think most people are financially uneducated. I think they're sheeple. They're not people. They work hard and whatever money's left over that they don't personally spend, they're going to give to someone else to manage. That person's going to make out like a bandit. That person's going to make money whether they win or lose. And at the end of the day, they're screwed, but they don't even know it yet. And no financial planner has the common decency to say, by the way, all this money that you're committing into this thing, it's not going to be enough, but I can't tell you that because it will put my commission at risk. Maybe you'll do something different. So just in general, I'm like, all right, maybe there is a place for annuity, but if there is, I don't think people get them. I don't think they understand them. I think a lot of people just at the end of the day, just lack total financial education. For me, single digit ROI is not how you build wealth. Might be how you sustain it. It's not how you build it.
Would you describe yourself as a dreamer?
I would definitely describe myself as someone that says you've got one life to live and don't throw it away following other people's broken financial advice, especially if it doesn't have the power to deliver the results that you've actually envisioned for the life that you want.
Stan, would you describe yourself as a dreamer?
No, I'm not. I'm a realist. I'm a pessimistic realist. And my saying is I live reality, not the dream. Now, I agree with what Kris said on one standpoint. There's new U-Hauls behind hearses, and if you ever see a U-Haul behind a hearse, take a picture of it and send it to me. But where annuities do fit, okay, when you get to the finish line, and let's talk about running a mile. You're 3 laps in, you're at 3.5. What do you want to do? You want to go live your life. Chapter 2, you need an income floor. Now, you can combine that with Kris's real estate program, but you also going to need an annuity, in addition to the annuity that you already own, by the way, Social Security, to create that income floor that you can never, ever outlive. Annuities were put on the planet in the Roman times as a pension plan for the dutiful Roman soldiers and their families. And for the last 200 or 300 years in this country, it's the only way to create a personal pension. Oh, by the way, if you do not work for the government or some really nice labor union, you don't have a pension. So you're going to get to the end here with this big 401k, hopefully big. Or so, what are you going to do? You're either going to create wealth with Kris's plan with real estate, or you can combine that with a guaranteed lifetime income stream. Kris talks about ROI. There's no ROI until you die with annuities. Up until then, it's a pure transfer of risk. People say, well, Dan, what's the ROI on a lifetime income annuity? If you tell me the day you're going to die, I'll give it to you. Up until that point, it's a transfer of risk. You never ask about your Social Security ROI, and that's an annuity. Why do you ask that with a real annuity from the standard lifetime income annuity getting income insurance? So when you get to the finish line, as you get older, you're going to have an income floor, and an annuity for lifetime income has to be a part of it.
Okay, so I'm here looking out for our audience at home and helping them understand
Absolutely.
what this debate is about. So help me understand, what is an annuity, the difference between it and a 401k, an IRA.
Okay.
And you're throwing out a lot of amazing terms, Stan, that quite frankly, I'm not familiar with. And I'd love to understand a little bit more.
When people say, I hate all annuities, what type are you talking about? I have two questions that you ask yourself if you even want to think about an annuity. And not everybody needs one, spoiler alert. First question, what do you want the money to contractually do? Number two, when do you want those contractual guarantees to start? I have an acronym called PIL. P stands for principal protection. I stands for income for life. L stands for legacy. And the other L stands for long-term care. If you do not need to contractually solve for one or more items in the PIL, you do not need an annuity. If you're looking for growth, don't buy an annuity. If you're looking for market growth, don't buy an annuity. But if you're looking for guarantees, maybe an annuity fits.
Can I just say, I just appreciate, Stan, right now, what you're saying right now, because I think there's a lot of people out there that are saying, oh, you need your 401ks, you need your IRAs, you should be dumping all your money that way. And then you give it to me and I'm going to annuitize all of it. And then I'm going to give you a really small guaranteed income stream. And they're going to say, wait a second, if you had told me that at the rate that I save, that I'm not going to be able to put enough in there to make that meaningful, I wish I had known that. And I call this the financial planning hoax. The fact that we have these people called financial planners, but none of them can actually plan to get you what you want because their products are weak. You're talking about someone that has money, that wants to put it in a guarantee because that's the product they're looking for. That makes sense. But someone that actually assumes that this is either the only option, it's the only way, or it's how I'm going to grow money, or it's how I'm going to make money. Dude, I laugh at that all day long. And I'm like, are you for real? Listen, I get it. Albert Einstein said that the most powerful financial thing ever created was compound interest.
Correct.
But compound on single digit is so weak that when you actually look at the value of that over 40 years, it's pathetic. If, however, you can put that into something that's double or triple digit, you can put that into real estate, you can put that into business, you can put something like that during your wealth growing years, well, then that actually makes sense. The question is, what should people financially be doing that will actually get them where they want to land? And I think there are some people participating in annuity land that think that it's actually the best option, or that it's going to grow for them or get them where they want to go. And spoiler, it won't.
It will not. And I will tell you this, the biggest mistake in the annuity industry is people out there selling growth or potential growth. Never buy an annuity for hypothetical, theoretical, back-tested, hopeful agent unicorns chasing the butterfly return scenarios. That's crap. Never buy for market return. If you want market return, good ROI, 7 to 9%, then do not buy an annuity. But the real tragedy, Kris, I think, is when people are going to start living longer, they have life expectancies are longer, they're going to need a lifetime income stream. In a pensionless world where less than 10% of companies that offer pension, you're going to have a pension in addition to the current annuity you own, Social Security. Now, when we talk about ROI and you're looking at lifetime income, it's primarily based on your life expectancy at the time you take the payment. Interest rates play a secondary role and would significantly have to move the pricing needle. So if you don't like the payout on an immediate annuity or deferred income annuity or qualified longevity annuity contract, then you're mad at yourself for being young, okay? Because it's a transfer of risk. Similar to when you get to Social Security, should I take payments at 65 or 70? Well, you have to factor in the 60 months of payments you missed if you're going to wait to age 70. As I say, there's no U-Hauls behind hearses. I'd rather you have a lifetime income stream. And the best way to use annuities, lifetime income annuities, is tell me exactly the income amount you need to solve for, that income gap, and we do a reverse engineer quote and use as little amount of money as possible to solve for that contractual guarantee. Period.
So Stan, are you saying that the less life expectancy you have, the better your the higher the payments are going to be?
Right. Life insurance companies have the big buildings for a reason. Why? Because they know when we're going to die. Property and casualty companies don't, because they don't know when the hurricane's going to hit. So what you're saying to the annuity company that's issuing this lifetime income stream is, okay, I'll take that bet. I think I'm going to live longer than you think I'm going to live. And if I do, you're on the hook. Now, the one thing that we do is we make sure that if your Learjet hits the mountain day 2, 100% of that money is going to go to your beneficiary. So you're not risking any money. You're just transferring the risk. And if you outlive the annuity company, then great, you're in their pockets and they're going to pay you forever. Period.
Interesting. Well, this isn't allowed, guys. It sounds like you're agreeing already, and we're just getting started.
Carson, don't be generous with your words.
No, he's just processing the facts. That's all.
All right, so here comes the real question. How much can you make in an annuity?
Bad question. Horrific question. One of the worst questions I've ever heard. Because again, it depends on what type of annuity that you're looking to purchase.
Pick one.
If you want lifetime income, I can't give you that number, how much money you're going to make, unless you're going to tell me when you're going to die. Period. Because it's a transfer of risk based on your life expectancy.
Yeah, but Stan, you got to be able to give a little bit of a range, right? Like, I understand that there's all sorts of factors, right?
The older you are, the higher the payment.
Listen, life insurance, you can customize that package any way you want. Annuities, I get it. It's the same thing. But at the end of the day, there's got to be a range, right? You're right. This isn't pie in the sky. This isn't making money. This is about getting a fixed rate guaranteed return on your money no matter what.
No, it's not. You just described one product out of 6.
Okay.
Because the majority of annuities sold and that should be purchased by people are lifetime income annuities. So when you're talking about returns, I don't really know that. Remember, life expectancy is any type of lifetime income stream from an annuity, regardless of the type. And there are 4 primary types that provide lifetime income: single premium immediate annuities, deferred income annuities, qualified longevity annuity contracts, income riders. Every single one of them, it's a return of principal plus interest. Forget the interest. Hold on that for a second. Because if the real value proposition of a lifetime income stream, lifetime income insurance annuity is that if you draw the account down to 0, the annuity company is still on the hook to pay. And I have thousands of clients where their money is, their account's at 0, and they're still getting a lifetime income stream, period. I mean, a lot of people, as you get older, they do not want to manage money or have someone manage money for them. And that's where these annuities come into place. Are there fixed rate annuities? Yes, but they're similar to a CD. Are there other annuities that the pie in the sky stuff is pitched, like variable annuities and index annuities, where you can get market returns on that? No, you don't buy them for that. Okay, and those are the high commission products that are primarily sold. The ones that I truly like are the simplistic, no annual fees, no moving parts. You can explain it to a 9-year-old, no offense to 9-year-olds, and they understand it. Okay, Warren Buffett would buy the simplistic annuities if he was an annuity buyer. He wouldn't buy the primary 2 that's being sold out there that are very complex.
Do you think, why do you think Warren Buffett is not an annuity buyer?
Well, A, he's semi-liquid. But the other reason is, if he did, he'd buy a single premium immediate annuity. If Warren Buffett was going to buy annuities.
But why doesn't he?
He doesn't need the income.
Why?
But he has enough money.
This is the situation that I think people need to try to find themselves in.
I agree with you.
They got to figure out, it's their job to build their income. It's their job to figure out how to make that money. When I was brand new in the game of real estate and I bought my second property, my first one I lived in for free because my basement paid my mortgage.
Sure.
Person's number one expense in their life is their living circumstance. So my house was paid for. Bought my second house, I had a $600 a month residual income off of that. And I thought, man, I can't retire on $600 a month. But you know what? For as poor as I was for the money I wasn't making, that extra $600 a month, I was like, oh my gosh, that is starting to cover a whole bunch of the rest of my bills. And what I did is I started realizing government, you're right, maybe I do have this forced government fixed annuity that I'll get some way down the road. But in the meantime, I'm not going to put my life on hold till I'm in my 60s. I want to live my life today. I want to figure out how to be in charge of my own income. I don't believe people should be earning their income all in one source. I don't believe they should be relying solely on a job as how they make their money. That's the problem, is we put ourselves in such a weak, vulnerable place. The average millionaire, 7 streams of income. Why shouldn't that be true for anyone else?
No, I agree. And the annuity should be part of that income floor. I think you can agree with me that everyone needs an income floor, that amount that's going to hit their bank account.
It's a guaranteed amount that you can rely on no matter what.
Correct. And that could be real estate that's kicking off income. That could be a lot of things. That could be dividend income. That could be your job. That could be a pension. That could be Social Security. What I'm saying is, to fill in that gap, a lifetime income annuity works. And also, too, for inflation. If inflation hits, then we can solve for that with annuities, doing a reverse engineer quote to solve for that gap. Yeah. I just think that people would be better investors, better real estate investors, better investors overall if they understood that this income floor is in place. I know it's going to be, I know what it is, and I'm going to go invest the rest.
Yeah, so I think that there is certainly a place in the world for annuities. I know this as a fact. Someone gets old enough. Listen carefully, but I'm going to throw in a big fat butt.
Whoa.
But I want to say this.
Okay.
I think this is important. Like, I meet all sorts of people. They're not financially educated. They don't know how to build streams of income through business. They're too scared to go into the real estate game. And honestly, they've just become accustomed to giving their money to someone else to manage. And the reality is there are people out there that say, I want it easy. And you know what? Annuity is easy. And for their situation, that could honestly be like a smart play.
It's turnkey.
It's turnkey because it's based on where they're at in life. Let me tell you where I come from, my energy of like so much disdain for annuities. It comes from, for me, it just backs up to the market. I look at the stock market, I'm like, there's a place where you can make some brilliant returns if financially educated and you know what you're doing. But most people say, you know what? I want low risk. So I'm going to put my money in a 401k, IRA, mutual fund index. I'm going to like bet on the S&P 500, the top 500 companies. Right. And over 30 years, I'm going to make 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10%. I'm like, you realize that if that is your bet, that you can do the math more or less today and figure out by the time you want to retire how much money you're going to have. And you do realize that in my experience, I find, Stan, that most people fall between 80 and 90%, like the average person, 80 to 90% short of what they actually thought they would have for retirement. So which means they don't have enough net worth. They don't have enough money to, first of all, even be able to put an annuity. I'm like, man, annuity is like the stock market. It does have this.
No, but it's not. I got to stop you there.
I understand it's not, but it has this really cool guaranteed dividend component, which I think is really, really cool. But I guess I think I get like this really nasty aftertaste in my mouth because people are trying to build wealth through single digit ROI compounding so that they can be safe. And I'm like, in your 20s and your 30s, that might be the dumbest thing you could do because I could pull out a calculator right now and more or less guarantee exactly where you're going to be at retirement. I understand at 54 years old, you're going to make your highest average earnings in your life. It's going to be $84,000 a year. I can pretty much to the penny, I bet I can get really, really dang close on where someone's going to wind up with their net worth based on choices they're making today. And no one is educating them that during their wealth building years, that their practices are so conservative, run by fear or by the masses, the financial planners making money off of them, that they're just guaranteed to lose and no one is telling them.
Listeners need to understand one thing, and the viewers need to understand one thing. When it comes to annuities, ROI and stock market don't apply. So when he says, I really hate annuities because the stock market, doesn't apply. Carson and I were talking before the show came on, and this is a fact. Over 85% of all trades in the stock market are non-human, algorithmic, black box, high velocity. Now, they allow us peons to trade between 9:30 and 4, but the institutions get to trade 24/7, 365. Tell me where that works. Now, I do agree that people need to look other places than the stock market. What I do think is people can't go 100% all in risk, okay? Or all in with non-guarantees. You know, my saying is you own an annuity for what it will do, not what it might do. And the will do is the contractual guarantees. A lot of people need the contractual guarantees. You can't be 100% risk. Most people can't. Some can. Most people can't. You've got to transfer some risk. That's where annuities come in.
And there's definitely room. People need to diversify. They need to be pursuing asymmetric opportunities. But I feel like a lot of the young listeners that are listening to my show, I'm like, man, if there was a time in your life to take risks, it's not in your 60s, it's not in your 50s, it's not in your 40s. The younger you are, the more you have the one asset on your side, which is time, and you should be leveraging that. The younger you are, the better position that you are to actually take not stupid risks, not dumb risks, intelligent risks, calculated risks. And that's just something that's really missing. I think that one of the things that I'm walking away with here is, annuities. Let me ask you, Stan, do you think people in their 20s and 30s, 40s should be setting up annuities?
No. If you're less than 50 years old, tune it out. And then what you learn from this, tell your mom and dad.
Hallelujah.
Period.
Oh, can I hear it?
If you're less than 50,
amen in the church?
Hit your money button.
No, I'm serious. That's the biggest mistake I see. Young people buying annuities of any type. Hello? I mean, yes, there's this asterisk, 1 out of 1 million person that might need it. But if you're less than 50 years old, forget about it. Call me when you're 55. What should they be doing?
What should they be doing when they're in their 30s and 40s?
Taking calculated risk. Period.
Wow.
Now,
I think I could walk over and give Stan a handshake maybe.
I was expecting more of a fight, guys.
Well, there's some fight here because, you know, Kris falls into the category that most fall into, which is, I really hate annuities. I mean, I really don't like annuities. I've looked at annuities. I really don't like them.
Can you not make me sound like
Kris,
such an idiot,
Chris,
Stan?
you actually sound like that.
Voice?
You can't say that.
Can you say more like, hey, I really think that annuities are
How about if I said I
stupid.
hate all real estate? I hate all real estate programs.
There are people out there that say that.
And they are stupid. Right? They
Show
are
them the
stupid.
shirt. Right. Stan, you got to show them the shirt.
All right, here's the shirt. I love annuity haters. And the reason I love annuity haters is because
Guys, Stan just dropped it. He just, if you can't see the video.
When you tell me that you hate all annuities, the first thing I'm going to say, hypocrite, you already own one, Social Security.
What's the second thing you say, Stan?
You're dumb.
What's the third thing you say?
What's your mailing address so I can send you my books? I mean, that's
awesome.
thing. I mean, this is an uneducated comment that I hear all the time, and financial journalists say that. And there's other things that people say, well, you should never own an annuity inside of an IRA. That's the dumbest thing on the planet. There are annuities that are designed for use in IRAs. You can use annuities in all different account types. That doesn't mean you need to buy one. But what it means is don't listen to all the garbage. And if you go to the bad chicken dinner seminar where the guy's up there in a bad leisure suit saying, well, you get a 10% upfront bonus, you get market upside with no downside. You've got to be smarter than that. If, as they say in Vegas, if you don't know who the rube at the table is, it's you.
Hey, real quick, Stan, I just got to ask you, who do you think are the idiots selling annuities that are selling them wrong and shouldn't be selling them?
Well, the problem, and this is a problem with the industry. I think the industry could solve all of its problems if all annuity types had the same commission level. And by the way, with annuity commissions, they're all built in and hidden and part of the old administrative cost. But most of the time, commissions are driving the sale. If all types were the same, then I think the quality would go to the top. Now, that's never going to happen, of course, but I'm a dreamer like Kris. No, I'm actually a realist.
He's a dreamer! He's using a sexy voice now.
Exactly. No, it is true. But, the bad chicken dinner seminar circuit where it's a one-size-fits-all, I always kid people, well, if you went to this guy and you told him you had a sore ankle and a sore throat and your stomach hurt, he'd be like, you know what? I think you need an indexed annuity. No, and it's not a one-size-fits-all, okay? So when you hear that, it's not a one-size-fits-all. I have nothing against indexed annuities. I probably sell more than anybody on the planet. But they're CD products. They're not market products. But the pitches out there are really, really bad. And to sell indexed annuities, you need to have a state life insurance license and make a 70 on it. So you literally could take the crash course on a Monday, give a seminar on a Saturday, and advise people on Monday about their retirement plan.
So, Stan, let me ask you this. So one of the things that I really crave is I like transparency. Yep. I like it when people shoot straight with me. And one of the things that I like with my personal financial planning team is they're all fiduciaries, which means they have to disclose everything. They disclose the money they make. Let me ask you, I mean, it sounds like you're throwing a whole bunch of people under the bus that are financially incentivized, right? I mean, that's Correct. The way the system works to pitch and sell their annuities.
Correct.
Is there a more ethical approach where someone can have full transparency and actually understand everything and also be able to see the person's private agenda?
In the annuity world, probably not. One of the biggest lobbies on the Hill is the insurance lobby. Yeah. And I mean, they make the NRA look like pikers. They just don't need the guns. They have money instead. Yeah. So, from the fiduciary standpoint, there's been all kinds of ideas of should people become fiduciaries. In my opinion, fiduciary should be what we do anyway. Yeah. We shouldn't have to have a sign that says I'm a fiduciary. What's a fiduciary? It's someone who puts the client's best interest ahead of theirs. Shouldn't that be what we do anyway? I mean, I call myself a misanthropic fiduciary. I hate all humanity, but I'm going to do the right thing regardless of who it is. I mean, I don't meet with clients. Everything's direct to consumer. If my next door neighbor wanted to open an account, I'd FedEx them the paperwork, but I'm going to do the right thing. I laugh at this whole fiduciary thing because that should be a given. If you're in the financial services business, you should be a fiduciary. Unfortunately, that's not the way it rolls. And the problem in the annuity industry is a lot of people are selling just one product. This indexed annuity or variable annuity, whatever, and they're just focusing on the one product. You can't do that. That's like if you went to a medical seminar and a doctor's giving that, he gave the same prescription to everybody in the room. That's crazy. They're not one size fits all. They're not for everybody, but they are for some people from a transfer risk standpoint.
So, Stan, if I understand this correctly, your belief is, hey, except for a rare 1 in a million exception to the rule, people under 50 shouldn't be looking at annuity.
Absolutely
They
right.
should be taking calculated risks. They should basically be looking for growing their money. And annuity does not equal grow. Annuity equals, you've got your 4 things. I want you to hit them, by the way, one more time, because they are really important. I think you did do it fast. I want to slow it down. The acronym is?
PILL.
Okay, so bottom line, PILL.
PILL.
Okay, so number one, the P stands for?
Principal protection.
Okay, so first of all, someone that should be looking at an annuity is someone that says, I have money, I've worked hard for it, and I want to make sure, guarantee that I'm not going to lose my principal because the market went sideways or something else happened. No matter what, number one, I want to make sure that I don't lose money. By the way, Warren Buffett's number one rule is don't lose money.
And
when you get older in age.
And his number two is don't forget rule number one.
Yeah, exactly. But you take a look at the fact that you can take risks when you're young, but when you're in your 60s or 70s, you don't have time for a reset.
That's correct.
Which means you cannot screw around. So rule number one within annuities, P stands for
principal protection. And the annuity industry has a product called a multi-year guarantee annuity, which is the annuity industry version of a CD. I know, Kris, I just saw him baby barf right there when I said CD because the return, but there's a lot of people that don't want to lose a penny and they just want to guarantee the interest rate.
And you know what, by the way, a society that teaches us to suck at money, not be good at money, not know how to make money, they're by the way, they're kind of primed for that anyway, because we're terrified. So number one, there is this guarantee of principal.
Correct.
I stands for
income for life.
Okay, and that's all about basically saying, hey, we're not talking about upside, we're not talking about downside. We're just saying with this
pension, your pension,
this
your
is a pension,
personal
and
pension.
It's a guaranteed amount that you can basically budget off of.
Period.
It's not like, oops, hey, something happened in the market and your residual this month dropped $1,000. That doesn't happen.
Right. It's like going outside in the water faucet and ripping the faucet off. Water's flying. In this case, it's income going to hit your bank account every single month as long as you're breathing.
In a moment, I'm going to say something that Carson's going to not believe, but I'm going to say it anyway. Okay. L, what does the first L stand for?
Legacy, leaving money to your heirs. So if you cannot qualify for life insurance, which is the best transfer of risk wealth product out there, because there's no that's the best ROI you'll never see because you're dead.
Yeah.
Okay. But legacy with annuities, you can get guaranteed issue.
Does this get taxed?
Yeah, it does.
Okay, so it does get taxed, but it is something that you can pass on.
It is something you can pass on if you can't qualify for life insurance. Because as we all know, they want to insure young, healthy people, right?
Right.
So you can do a legacy play with a guaranteed issue product.
Okay, and then the second L,
long-term care, confinement care.
What on earth does that mean?
Long-term care, when you can't feed
long-time care, confinement care. How does that feel, Stan?
Okay.
Do you like that voice?
Yeah, that's good. No, that's good. I got that call this morning. No, here's the thing. When you can't feed yourself and clothe yourself and bathe yourself, first of all, life sucks, right? But you're going to live.
This is like disability.
You're going to live an average of 3 years and maximum of 7. People want to cover for that.
Got it.
In-home care or nursing home care. You can do that. You can do that contractually with annuities. So principal protection.
Are you saying that it covers above and beyond, like when you get into that nasty or dying state and you have higher expenses, it'll kick in for that?
It'll kick in. Really? Absolutely. And you can do that. And again, you're transferring the risk to the annuity company to solve for that problem.
All right. So Carson, this is something that might blow your mind a little bit.
Here we go.
As much as I'm always, I hate annuities. I'm going to, from this moment moving forward, I'm going to qualify that. I'm going to say, before the age of 50, I hate annuities. So you might get that out of me.
That's correct.
But I have my own foundation, and my wife and I, we haven't changed our lifestyle in like 12 years. Mm-hmm. And this year I'm going to double, triple my income again. And my wife and I sometimes have this conversation like, why, Kris, are you putting any effort whatsoever into even making more money if it really doesn't have an impact on us? And she and I, we have a financial plan, and part of our legacy plan is not how this money goes to my 4 kids, because I'm not raising 4 brats. They'll get something, but they're not going to get what they think.
Right.
That money's all going into my foundation, and that foundation gets to survive. And for me, it's about, hey, how do I make that money risk-free? That money will be going into an annuity, and it will be...
Stop! Did you just hear that?
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm dropping it.
He's talking about a second annuity, Stan.
By the way,
you own 2 now.
I'm an exception to the rule. I think we can all agree.
Oh my goodness.
No, because I want...
Kris, you're under 50.
When I'm dead, even though I know how to make ridiculous amounts of money, at some point it's like, oh, here's $30 million or here's $100 million. What's it supposed to do? I just want it to kick out its annual check so that all of that money, by the way, it's a foundation. That principal never gets touched, and that money will go on in perpetuity to keep benefiting other people for the purpose of my foundation, which, by the way, for those that don't know, it is a breakthrough technology. I pay a host of coaches to provide breakthroughs for people that suffer from emotional issues. They haven't been emotionally educated. People who have been abused, for example, that are just hanging on to their past. Mm-hmm. My foundation, my wife and I, we have a huge passion for helping people. We already know that annuity is going to be the play when the time is right for all of that money that we keep funding in there.
And stop for a second. You just said something that people need. When the time is right,
yep,
the annuity strategy, transfer risk strategy can be the play.
Yeah.
If you're less than 50,
All right.
it's not the play.
So Stan, let me tell you where I warn people about Annuityville, because I was this morning at my sales office. We're training a host of new salespeople. I'm like, hey guys, I only got 2 hours with you. I need to teach you the conversation of how you shock people into finding motivation to rise up. Because when I talk to people, they'll reach out to me, they'll buy my book, my gear, they'll listen to my stuff, you know, and then at the end of the day, they're struggling with finding the motivation to do business or and I'm like, listen, first of all, if you can't dig deep and you're not hungry enough to find a why, then partner with someone that's got that so you don't screw that up. But the bigger thing I'm doing is I'm trying to give them a wake-up call. And Stan, I want you to butcher this because I think you're going to. You're going to share some brutal truth on this, but I give people an example. I say, right, well, you've been working for 20 years. You've now got $200,000 saved up between 401k, IRA. You're working on paying off your house. You're halfway through your career. You're kind of at your ceiling. You're not expecting a whole lot to change, maybe just some raises that come with adjustment to inflation. And I'm like, great. And I'll ask them, where do you think you'll be? Where do you hope to be 20 more years from now? And they're like, well, if I have $200,000 now, maybe I'll have, you know, 500,000. And I'll tell them, I'm like, great. When you get to retirement, you give your, let's call it $500,000 to Stan the annuity man. And if Stan's paying, for example, a 3 or 4% on that, you're going to be sitting on, you know, $1,000 a month or $800 a month or $1,200 a month. And if you're not happy with that right now, then you need to use the next 20 years of your life to do something different. Because what you're doing, if it's broken, then it's broke. And that means you need to do something different. And I'll tell people that, but I'd love for you to actually respond to that, because I'll use that example as a motivator to say, yo, you're young, you got time. Why are you wasting it dicking around on single digit ROIs getting you nowhere?
I understand that to a point, but you gave the example of 3 to 4% or whatever you said return. You're only talking about one type of annuity. You know, if it's a lifetime income stream, remember life expectancy drives the train. I'm going to keep repeating that because you keep throwing that.
I keep hearing that over and over again, but Stan, I'm a little confused. No. What percentage of annuities actually sell that product?
What percent of agents actually sell that product?
Yeah, would you guess that's the majority or the minority?
No, it's the minority.
Okay.
And the reason why?
That's interesting. That's new information.
Here's the reason why.
Correct me.
I think around 10% of the annuity sales last year were single premium immediate annuities, which is the most pro-customer annuity on the planet, lifetime income stream pension. No moving parts, no annual fees, very, very low commission.
Got it.
Very, very low commission. So getting back to your example about the person with 200,000, hopefully it's going to be 500. I have these brutal calls every day with people. Okay, you have this money and you want a lifetime income stream. And I say, well, what do you want that lifetime income stream to be? What do you need per month? And I'll run the quote, and it is a back slap to their face that, hey, not only do you not need an annuity right now, you need to go get some more growth and call me later, because what you have is not going to convert into the lifetime income stream that you need.
By the way, I just got to pause for a second and say thank you, Stan, for solving for what I call this whole financial planning hoax, because you're leveling with people.
Let me give you another hoax.
Before we go there, Stan,
I'm going to do this. Hold. Here's the biggest hoax on the planet, and I've been doing this for a long time, for 30 years. The 4% rule. The 4% retirement withdrawal rule. Well, Mr. Jones, if you let me manage your money and charge a fee, then we could just peel off 4% of interest of what we gain, and then you never touch the principal, and that's how you get your income stream. That's crap. In a volatile market, if you have 1 year that goes down, the 4% rule is done.
I hate how much they leverage that. It drives me nuts. Like, I made 30% last year. I'm like, I don't care what you made last year. If you're trying to be a 1 year player in the stock market, you will get slaughtered.
No, ask him this. Did you sell it?
Exactly.
I mean, seriously, for people like, hey, I made 32% last year. Did you sell it? Yeah, you got it in the bank. You got the money. No, I'm riding it. Okay, right. There's no bell. There's no whistles at the top or the bottom of the market, right? Yeah. And so GameStop's a great one that just happened. There's a lot of people that got drilled.
Dude, they got hammered because they were market chasers, no idea what they're doing, financially uneducated. So sounds like you need people to get educated. I gave this example.
Absolutely.
So help correct me in this. I'm pitching a minority product. What would the majority product sound like that would be more accurate? Because I want it to be accurate.
In the annuity world?
Yes.
In a perfect world where the unicorns chase the butterflies?
Nope. I'm talking about the majority of the annuity products that people buy in reality.
What they're buying right now, primarily 75% of all annuity sales are either variable annuities, and I don't sell.
And they're doing that for upside, aren't they?
By the way, disclaimer:
they're doing that for upside.
I don't sell variable annuities because I don't sell anything that goes down.
And they're promising 7 to 9% hope and dreams, right?
Because there's mutual funds inside. They call them separate accounts. So they're mutual funds. So
do they have floors?
For it to grow.
Do they have floors?
They have income riders attached to them, but you can lose all your money on the real money side.
Yeah,
the principal.
You can lose your principal.
Doesn't that kind of like defy the whole purpose of what annuity is supposed to be?
Variable annuities were put on the planet in 1955 by TIAA CREF for tax-deferred growth. The problem is there's limitations on what you can choose for the investments. And if you want real growth, there shouldn't be limitations.
I agree with you completely.
Period.
Yeah.
Now, the other product that's being sold horrifically, and it's sad, is a fixed index annuity. Because the pitch is market upside with no downside. Well, if that was true, then that's all the Fed would buy.
Correct.
Right? There's no such thing.
Yep.
But that's how the pitch is. And what it is, it's a CD product. But that's how it's being sold, and it's being sold improperly. So those are the two that's representing 75% of the sales. And oh, by the way, spoiler alert, they're the highest commission products out there.
I know. You know what, Stan, I was listening, I was doing some mentoring with Ray Dalio, and he was telling me about the billions that he'd returned to his investors. And I was like, how'd you do that? He said, Kris, when you're young and when you're growing your money, you should get your money into, once you achieve 15 different asset classes that are asymmetrical in risk, meaning low downside, really high upside, there's plenty of risk, and you can lose more than you win and still wind up devilishly on top.
Sure.
And that's the advice that I'm giving people. So I like explaining what an annuity is, because I like to pitch it a little bit as, hey, unless you're freaking wealthy and rich and you've got enough money to put in an annuity that you're happy with, if you're lacking the kind of money that you need, tying that up in an annuity, like that could actually be hurtful to you. And what I'm trying to motivate is, like, you're wasting your time. You got to get on your game now. You should become the master of money and finance and ROI. You got to figure out how to be making your money right now while you're young and while you got time, because the time will come when you can't. And annuity will probably be your only and best option.
Possibly. But the problem we're having right now is people say, well, what happens with inflation, hyperinflation, Stan? What are we going to do with inflation? First of all, if any agent ever tells you that they have an annuity that solves for inflation, they're lying, period. There's no such thing. Annuity companies have the big buildings for a reason. You can attach those increases, okay, but they're just going to significantly lower the payment as compared to the same annuity without.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to solve for inflation in the future. Can an annuity be part of that income floor? Yes, but it doesn't solve for inflation. You're going to have other income streams and other growth opportunities happening to make up for that, period.
So I'd love to put some real numbers behind this. I know we push you to give us like an ROI, and you said the questions are wrong. The question is wrong, or
horrific.
It's horrific. That's the term you used.
Yeah, it was.
But let's put some real numbers to it. Your residual income at 26, you had 25 homes, you were roughly making 12.
Let's just round down, $10,000 a month.
$10,000 a month. When you say on a fixed income annuity,
Or a lifetime income annuity.
Lifetime income annuity. What is like your average? What could be expected?
If you're 70, the payment's going to be higher than when you're 50. I really, what you're asking is another. You can't do that.
I want some examples.
You can't do that unless I'm sitting here running a quote real time, because annuity quotes are like a gallon of milk. They change every single day. I mean, they change all the time. So, and let me give you an example. For lifetime income with annuity companies, like when people buy mutual funds, give you an example. They buy the small cap, mid cap, large cap, international, etc. When annuity companies offer lifetime income streams, they're attracting age ranges, 65, 67, 70, 72, 75. So things change. They have a number of premium they want to raise for the 75-year-olds. Once they raise it, then that quote's going to go down and be less attractive. So that's the reason you got to quote all carriers. It's like buying a plane ticket.
But
you cannot attach.
Wait a second. I gotta know this then, real quick. I know you want to answer this, but I gotta know this then. So obviously there's really advantageous times to buy the stock market. I'm counter-cyclical. When do I double down on the stock market? When it freaking plummets. When do I buy more real estate than possible? When the market plummets. Are there ideal times?
No.
To buy an annuity?
There's no arbitrage. There's no sweet spot. There's no pound the table reason to buy it. The reason you buy it is you want to transfer the risk to solve for the pill.
So there's not better times to buy annuities than others. It's always a good time.
No.
Or always a bad time.
No, it's always the contractual guaranteed time if the contractual guarantees work.
And by the way, does the contractual guarantee change with policy and time and
No,
company?
It's in the contract. You know, you lock it in. You're locked and loaded. Now, there's positives and negatives to being locked and loaded. People say, well, I'm not going to buy an annuity because I want interest rates to go up. Okay, great, Chester. If you're going to do that, then you have to factor in the payments that you missed as you're waiting to become master of the universe and time it. You cannot beat the annuity companies. You cannot beat the life insurance companies. All of it is primarily based on when you're going to die. That's it. And what you're saying is, I'll take that bet with lifetime income. With a principal protection product, it's like a CD. You're saying, hey, here's my money. I don't want to watch it. I don't want to watch the news. I'm tired of it. I just want an interest rate.
Okay.
Period.
Okay. So I'm getting 2 walkaways right now, takeaways that are really important. The first one is, if you're not 50 years old, get off your ass.
Please.
Like, if you're not 50 years old, go hustle, grind.
There's no U-Hauls behind hearses. Do it.
Yeah, like stop just trusting a single source. Dude, and I try to be kind and nice, but I go to my employee base and I go to my team and I'm like, hey, what's your game plan? Like, what are you doing outside of all this? Because most people will hire and get a job, Parkins Law, spend actually plus or minus 10% of what they make.
Right.
And they build their lifestyle on what they make, and they shouldn't do that. I always tell people, man, you got to figure out how to make $50,000 more a year minimally than you're actually spending. Why? Because that amount of money wisely invested can actually turn into something. Just going double digit. So I play, Stan, you may not know this super deep about me, but on my last several thousand deals, I'm averaging 25% ROI every year on my money. Often 30, 35, but we'll just go with the minimum, 25%. I've never done less than that on my last 4,000.
You should never buy an annuity.
What's that?
You should never buy an annuity.
Not before 50 years old.
Exactly.
So what I'm doing is I'm compounding this money, I'm growing it aggressively, and I compared it to the stock market. In over 20 years, I'll make 27 times more money with the 25% ROI. It's only 4 times the ROI. It's significant. I get a lot of people don't know how to do that. That's why I have a lot of people partner with me. They want to invest in real estate with me.
Sure.
Because 25% today doubled in 5 years is 50%, doubled in 5 years. By year 10, we're doing 100% a year on our money. By year 15, we're doing 200%. By year 20, we're doing 400%. And along the way, I'm showing people how to do infinite ROI. Obviously, that's for like the money. So that's the first thing that I'm walking away with is, if you're listening to this, please, 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 stop waiting for someone to try to motivate you for why now is the time to get off your butt and make something happen. But the second thing that I'm also really getting is, I don't think Stan's trying to be difficult on answering some of his questions. Literally, like I own a life insurance company. I know how wildly policies can be differing, create, depending on what your goal is. There's just so much stuff out there. It really is unfair to quote things. So I want people to at least walk away and say, hey, I'm over 50. I am curious about this annuity thing. Here's what I learned about Stan. The guy has no BS. He'll shoot straight. He'll tell you the truth. I think you know that by now. Go to the annuityman.com. Listen, I'm not financially licensed, period. I don't get paid anything for this. I didn't tell Stan I would tell him any of this. But if you go to the annuityman.com, you can at least get a quote or have a conversation with the man himself and learn what's possible. What could I be looking into? But please, if you are under 50 years old, please don't.
And please don't go to my site if you're under 50, because you're wasting your time. Period. I'd rather go.
Does it say that on your website?
Question, here's the real answer to your question. If you really want to know what that number is, go to my site at theannuityman.com and you can run your own quote without anyone bothering you. You can run it real time. We quote all carriers. Yeah.
Don't have to talk to a human to try to persuade, twist your arm.
No.
He was telling us before we started recording how he avoids
humans,
contact with humans.
Absolutely. I don't interact well. You know, you probably caught that. But I am a misanthropic fiduciary. I am a fiduciary. I do the right thing for people.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can go to my site and run quotes all day long and see what those contractual guarantees are. And if you don't like them, you hate yourself for being young. Period. Lifetime income. Did I stump you?
No, but I think that was a mic drop moment.
That was a mic drop moment.
For
those listening at home, Stan just dropped his sunglasses on the ground.
It's not as impressive
They're
as a
expensive
mic.
sunglasses.
All right,
okay, well, I feel like we dove deep into this. This is really good. You guys mind if I stir up a little bit more controversy?
Dude, there's been no what are you talking about?
I know you guys.
There's a couple. I had to kind of.
You've agreed on way more things than I thought.
If any of you listeners are enjoying this, oh my gosh, gloves off! I'm like, in all fairness, I reached out to Stan after someone had made a mutual introduction, and all I saw was his title. I knew nothing about him. Stan, the annuity man. I'm sitting there. I'm like, oh my gosh,
here we go.
I'm gonna freaking destroy this guy. So I wrote him this email. I'm like, okay, Kris, be honest and upfront. Say, hi, my name is Kris Krohn. If I produce this podcast, I promise you 500,000 views. But my goal after you flying in town to sit in my studio will be to absolutely destroy every square inch of your philosophy and notion and business regarding, but your personal character will not be attacked. I feel like mine was with that voice that you kind of threw me.
That is a good voice. You guys need to clip that voice.
But honestly, this has been educational for me today. And part of that is because I don't think I've spoken to an annuity man or woman intelligent enough to help me understand it quite the way that you have today. So actually that's something that I'm grateful for. And I did, everyone heard it. I admitted it. There is a place for annuities in my world. And by the way, if you have millions of dollars, there's definitely a place for annuities in your world. Like, just want to be clear on that. I'm just telling everyone, do what you got to do to have millions so you have options and choices so that you don't get stuck with, by the way, here are the real stats. Average person in their 60s has 172,000 saved for retirement between 401ks, IRAs, and their market account. Not equity in their home, excluding equity. Maybe their house is paid off, half paid off, whatever. People are really equity rich right now, but $172,000 sitting in 401ks, IRAs, and the market. And I'm like, man, you annuitize that. I don't care which of Stan's 6 annuities he doesn't quote for you on. You are not going to be
that dog don't hunt.
Be a happy camper.
That dog don't hunt.
That dog don't hunt. I like that. That works.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing too. With annuities in some states, they are principal protected, creditor protected, lawsuit protected. Okay, so
I can't argue that.
For some players out there, the surgeons and the entrepreneurs, they do use annuities for that reason. Because for someone like you, give an example, you don't need stock market, you don't need annuities, you can make your own money, you should never do anything other than what you do. But if you want to protect it from the guy running to your car because he knows you're Kris Krohn, annuities can protect you from those lawsuits.
All right.
And there are some states where we sell a ton of annuities to players like you.
Stan, we got to throw down. I want to ask you a question. So I'm in deep on life insurance from the standpoint that every month I throw extra money in there.
Love it.
I have it growing. My guaranteed dividend is 4% a year.
Okay.
That's the average, by the way, over a 20-year contract. So it's not that. That's what it has to average out to over its life. And then I have a 1 to 3% dividend that comes on top of that. So I could be averaging over 20 years, 5, 6, 7%. And I hold money there. It's also unlitigatable. Like at least to this day, not even the government can get their dirty, rotten fingers on it. And that's a vehicle that I use for transferring and moving money around. I'm doing that obviously well before my 50s.
Am I declared the winner at this point?
Wait a second. No, I didn't get to my.
Come on, man.
I didn't get to my question. My question is, what do you think of that?
I think it's great.
Tell me why.
You're protecting. I mean, you've worked hard. You started from nothing. You've built it. That doesn't mean you keep throwing the dice over him with a running start. You have to take some of it and set it aside for the idiots or the sociopaths that are going to try to get at it.
Yes.
Because once you have it, people want to get at it. And so what you got to do is figure out legally, like you have, with either life insurance or annuities.
This.
Absolutely.
Right.
That you find the vehicle that can protect that asset.
Do you guys market life insurance?
I don't sell life insurance.
Oh, well,
I'm Stan the annuity man.
I know. But you should be Stan the annuity man for 50 and over and Stan the life insurance man for 50 and under.
I love life insurance. I have a ton of life insurance on myself. I believe in it. It's the best ROI you'll never see because you're dead.
I like it. I like the living benefits, but you said it very well otherwise. Most people don't leverage life insurance as a living benefit. They literally are just like, well, someone told me. I love how we're doing the dorky voice.
I know. We've done it a lot today, back and forth.
I can put my money in a life insurance, and it's like investing in the life insurance stock market
It's the Chester voice.
Yeah.
This guy told me I could get tax-free income. Come on, man.
Chester.
Come on.
For me, it's always Marmaduke.
Come on,
but we'll go with Chester
Marmaduke.
Chester and his wife Martha. Those are my people.
But then I also have Chauncey that has the rich money. Chauncey loves those annuities.
Exactly. I think. Are you with us?
I'm with you. I'm loving the voices, guys. I'm loving it.
Chester's great.
In interest of time, I'd like to give each of you, I plan to give each of you some closing statements based on everything that was discussed. Kris, let's go ahead and start with you.
First of all, I do want to know, I want everyone to comment on this episode. If you liked the level of what I'm going to call unfiltered, very genuine and very real, debate, arguments.
Financial truth.
Yeah, I like this. I like that we kept it really true. And the reality is Stan and I have zero financial agreements with each other. And we just met 30 minutes earlier. And I'm like, well, reality is I'm going to shake your hand, exchange a couple of pleasantries, say a little bit of hi. But then, dude, gloves come off and I don't know what's going down, but you better be okay with that because I own this. This is my IP. I'm cutting it up and I'm putting it everywhere. So if you flub it up, it is what it is. And I got to say, I think, Stan, you represented yourself very real today.
Thank you.
I thought it was going to be real estate versus annuities. And what I'm walking away with, all right, like I'm getting at least from Stan, who, by the way, is so deeply entrenched in this, guys, that he understands who this is for and who it's not. And that's what I'm appreciating the most. I believe Stan's the kind of person that if he met with someone that had, a pittance of amount of money, he might get paid to offer an annuity program. But if it's not going to serve him best, I don't believe he would.
I wouldn't.
And that's just me just going off of my gut over the years of dealing with people and going with my gut on character. I think Stan, you can trust him to shoot straight. and he'll tell you the dirty, rotten, ugly truth, and he's going to do what's right. So I feel that. I think the other thing that I'm just walking away with is clearly before the age of 50, you have got to, and maybe you're 60 and listening to this. And by the way, it's not like after 50, it's annuity or bust. You have to understand that it is your fiduciary responsibility. It's yours to make sure that you're not in a financial situation that feels compromised. And the reason why I teach people how to crush it in real estate, how to play the market appropriately, I teach people how to own businesses, how to buy and sell businesses. I'm basically teaching people where you go for triple, double digit, quadruple digit, infinite ROIs. Dude, I've made some of the most insane returns because I didn't master real estate, I didn't master business. I mastered the game of money and ROI. I learned how to calculate some basic things. I learned, from people like Warren Buffett, not putting all your eggs in one basket, getting yourself diversified, having multiple streams of income, not taking unnecessary risks. And you're gonna screw up the first decade of trying to do some of the things that I do from time to time. But that's meant to teach you that, first of all, you will survive it, especially if you didn't play all out and just do crazy financial bets. And what you need to do is find good mentors, good people that understand the space that can keep you from falling on your face as much as possible, and then figure out how to hack double, triple, quadruple digit ROIs. I wrote a book about this. It hasn't come out yet, but it's all about having it all. It's all about being that safe-made millionaire, because guess what? No one else is going to make you that million. It's up to you. That is on you. And you know what? In truth, you've heard it from me. A time will come in my life where there are certain aspects of my wealth and portfolio that absolutely will be annuitized. And by the way, why would I do that? A, because I want my principal guaranteed. B, I want to pass it on to my family. C, I want the guaranteed fixed money coming in no matter what. But I also understand, I'm very clear how much money I got to put in the bank to make that meaningful. Because there's no way I'm going to drop millions in there and hope for tens of thousands of dollars a month. I'm going to have to be really good at the money-making game, which goes back to my earlier point. So for me, that's where I'm at on the game of making money. And I also know that when it comes time for annuities, I think I'm going to go to theannuityman.com and say, Stan, shoot straight, because I don't want to spend 80 hours learning all these products. This is my scenario. Help me do something intelligent.
Final statement, Stan.
It's going to be quick. I really appreciate being here. This has been a lot of fun. I think we got a lot of facts out. And every time I talk about annuities, people come in with preconceived notions of what they are.
I didn't do
They've
that
heard
today.
Things.
I didn't do that today.
But at the end of the day, facts matter, and annuities do have their place. You do already own one if you have a Social Security number, which is a good thing, because everyone needs lifetime income, and a lot of people need principal protection. But if you're less than 50, I need you to lean in right here, okay? If you're less than 50, do not contact me. You need to do other things than annuities. Now, you might want to tell your parents, and that's fine because they need transfer of risk, but annuities are transfer of risk products. Remember, they offer principal protection, income for life, legacy, and long-term care. They're not growth products. They never are. They never will be. And don't look at them like that. And if your brother-in-law is trying to sell you one saying market upside with no downside, give him a hug and walk away. Period. End of story. I do encourage you to go to my site. Thanks again, Kris, for having me.
Okay, well, this has been really interesting. I had a lot of fun helping be the arbiter for this discussion. And honestly, I think we found more common ground than we expected.
I'm surprised.
And I think
I was not expecting that much common ground.
I actually think it comes down to Stan just being straight up honest with us about how these products are supposed to work.
And I hope everyone listening gets that and values that, because I think that's one of the very important things that people walk away from.
For sure. Yep. Hit theannuityman.com. Get your own personal quote without having to talk to a single human being. As always, if you're interested in any of our real estate or any of the things that we're teaching, Kris's books, hit up kriskrohn.com. And we'd love to hear from you guys. If you enjoyed this, comment below. And we'll catch you guys next time on The Kris Krohn Show.